Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to have a chat with Marc Diplock. He's one of the people that work for Mates4mates, and we'll have a discussion on what Mates4mates offer for the veteran community here in Australia, and what's been happening during this coronavirus crisis. So without further ado, here we go. So welcome, Marc. How you been?
Great, Luke. Yourself?
Yeah, getting there. Um, Self-isolation, but it's I've been doing it for a while on this little property, so no, nothing new to
S-
me.
Some of us thrive and like the isolation. Others do struggle.
Yeah, no, it's been good. So got you onto the channel just to have a chat about Mates4mates. You guys have helped me out a lot. I met you as a LO up in Townsville many years ago now. So
A few kilos and more hair ago. Yep.
Yep. So, I want to just spread the word to all my viewers, of the great job Mates4mates actually does. Like, I can preach it all day. They might not listen to me. So that's why I brought you on, and we can spread the word together.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Yeah, like you said, it's something that we all find. We all tend to find our own little niche or our own bit of support out there. And when it works and when it's a good thing, it's always great to, sing it from the mountaintops and let other people know of the support that's out there.
Yeah. So, first main question, and the mission for of Mates4mates. So, as a whole, or as a company, a non-profit organization, what's the mission that you guys are
Yep.
striving for?
So as you said, Mates4mates, it's a non-for-profit organisation. We are there to support anybody, current serving and ex-serving, that's affected by service. But not only that person, but also their family and then their support structure as well, which I think is really an important piece of the puzzle as well. So when I talk about affected by service, it comes in a range of different factors. So you've got your typical psychological conditions. So every time we talk about people affected by service, we always all go straight to the PTSD and coming back from combat and deployments and whatnot. But there's a big range of different mental health factors that we support. As there should be. So, we're seeing people with adjustment disorder, anxiety, depression, drug and alcohol issues, chronic pain and whatnot as well. So it is a big, broad range of mental health conditions. Some people, military personnel are very stoic. That's the nature of that role and what is ingrained in that person when they enlist. That it's quite hard to admit that there are those issues and that support's needed. We tend to put our head down, bum up, and just get on with our days. We try and support people that don't realize that they need support yet as well around that mental health, but also just as importantly those with physical conditions as well. So we're helping support people with everything from your typical military injuries, which is just your bad back, bad knees, bad shoulders, which everybody gets.
Yep, I'm one of them.
Yep, all the way through to the more severe traumatic. So everything from guys and girls who have missing limbs from accidents, whether it's from deployment or going to and from work, or incidents in the field, all the way down to people who have had knee reconstructions and never actually rehabilitated correctly. So we set up a lot of that support structure around them. And like I said before, is a lot of that support we give is also there for the families, which is really important for those veterans who have left defence. There's a lot of support for partners and kids and whatnot when you are serving. There's great organisations like DCO and whatnot, and even the military family, that supports, living in married patches and having a unit, boozers and having those sorts of things which bring people together. Once you do discharge out of the Defence Force, there isn't anything like that for the families. So we create a lot of support around those family members. We have a lot of family members that join without the veteran as well, which is great because in turn, by supporting that partner, we're keeping them at home supporting that veteran as well. So, it is a full wraparound holistic approach to recovery for veterans and their families.
Yeah, so yeah, it's good. Like I know for myself, my wife was also became a mate, and she got her help she needed when after she gave birth, and had a little bit of postnatal depression. But what you guys did for us, it was just amazing. Like, we got to go onto the couples equine therapy, and yeah, we didn't really have a problem with our relationship, but that just made us stronger and closer, and understanding each other is a big thing. And that's what really drew me to Mates for Mates is they don't just look after me, they look after my family too. So
Sometimes it's just as it's if not more important to look after the family than it is to look after the veteran.
mm,
We see it all the time where the veteran might have discharged out medically, or discharge out normal standard admin discharge, or just normal discharge out, still have injuries and whatnot, but don't get them addressed. Back out in the workforce. On the face of it, the old adage of swimming like a duck, that above water they're looking great, underneath they're treading water to keep afloat. So by supporting that partner and that family, we're able to actually help bolster up that veteran as well. And yeah, with yourself and Crystal, I know 1,000 other people are in the same situation. What we do is we're not going to give a magic pill. We're going to help guide and support, give people the tools to be able to recover, and transition through what they're trying to transition through. So, unfortunately, because there's such a varied space of issues. There's not one veteran that's the same as the next. So all we can do is give as much guidance, as much lived experience as well. It's a really important thing of what we do with Mates for Mates is we use staff who are ex-serving. We bring back in members like yourself. You've come through and done quite a lot for Mates, post your recovery piece as well, where that word of mouth and that guarantee from another veteran that, hey, I went through this, I've been through that, and this is the right path to travel, is a really, really important integral part of what we do.
yeah, so yeah, it's good that you mentioned the tools. So you guys taught me about having that toolbox, and filling up with all these different tools that can help you through your darkest times. And that's why it took me a couple of years to finally get that toolbox working perfectly for me. But it's been really good.
Yeah, and it's always, I love the crossover with the toolbox, because sometimes we all forget where the toolbox is. It's not where we left it last. But having an organization or a service that no matter what, we can have people transition through and come out the other end and recovered, or are a lot better space than what they were, that they know that in 6 months' time, in 2 years' time, the doors are always open. It's not you need to come in, do this, out you go, see you later. We've
Mm.
helped you and off you go. It's a place that you can plug in and play. You can come in, get as much or as little as what you want out of the organization. But always know that once you're a member or a mate, is what we call everybody, you're a mate for life. So you're able to tap in and tap out as you need to as well, which is really important.
Yeah, that's good. So, like you said, let's just go to the next question. Flow on from what you just said about the doors always open. So, you do have some FRCs, so Family Recovery Centres. So, where are they
Yep.
located at the moment?
So at the moment, we've got 3 family recovery centres. We are a national organisation. So we've been going around for just shy of 7 years now. Off the top of my head, I probably got that wrong, but we're an initiation of RSL Queensland originally. So they're the ones who founded us. They're the ones who give us a fantastic donation of support every single year that keeps our doors open. And sort of over that period of time, we've grown. So at the moment, we've got 3 physical locations, but we are national with our programs. So we're up in Townsville, as where we're originally from.
Yep.
It seems that everyone in Townsville moves south. Must be the weather. Um, so we're up there. We've got this fantastic, massive family recovery centre in Aikenvale. So nice and close to the bases and pretty central to Stocklands as well. Here in Brisbane, we're in Milton, which is really central into the city. So most people can access, because Brisbane's quite a large spread out area. And we've also got a family recovery centre down in Hobart in Newtown as well, which is a lovely little FRC down there. We also have that large regional outreach program. So especially along the east coast of Australia. So in Cairns, Mackay, Bundaberg, Sunshine Coast, Toowoomba, Ipswich, Burnie, anywhere where there's groups of veterans, we're actually rolling out our programs. So, and that can be as basic as a social coffee catch up once a week, which is probably just as important as a psychological session, because it's that informal getting around people that actually know what we're talking about, know what the issues are, and gives you that sense of calm and relatability as well. So we roll those programs out all over the place. We've only just recently announced, there was a federal announcement from the Minister for Veterans and also from Mates4mates about 2 weeks ago, that we are the locators of the new Veteran Centre up in Darwin as well.
Yeah.
So once we go through the situation we're all going through nationally at the moment, we'll actually be looking at setting up a new veteran hub, veteran centre up in Darwin as well. And we'll roll out. That's obviously going to wait now with our delays. We've had to delay a couple of our other expansion projects. But what it has done is it's enabled us to actually probably go more digital in our formats and expand our services a lot more at the moment to people all over the place that couldn't normally access things in the past.
Yeah, no, it's good. So I didn't actually hear about that Darwin one. I'm getting behind in times. That's awesome.
Well, that's part of that large government announcement that they had just before the end of last year.
Yeah.
I think it was in total, off the top of my head, $30 million that they're looking for veteran centres around the country. So, part of that is employment, part of that is advocacy and support and whatnot as well. So we're going to work in conjunction, obviously, with our sister organisation, RSL Queensland, as well, because they've been expanding with their projects and programs. So they've, for the last year and a half, been running some employment programs, which have been really successful. So they've now, in the last 3 months, actually gone into other states with those programs too. So RSL Queensland are really stepping it up and providing that support around. So, we're great that we're sister organisations that wherever one goes, one can support as well, which is quite good.
Oh, that's good. One thing I want to chat about, probably it's not relevant at this point of time, but activities that you guys provide. I know I've done a few. I did the equine therapy, the horse track down in Canberra. That was awesome. And then also Kokoda. So what's the activities that are running at the moment if all this stuff wasn't happening?
At the moment, some of those rehabilitation adventure programs are just on hold. We did change up a few this year as well, and locations to make it easier for veterans to actually access. Obviously, with the shakedown and the restrictions, we can't do those anymore. But that's part of the pillars of services. So we've also shifted around this year our service streams. So historically, we ran on 5 main core service streams. Now we run on 4. We haven't gotten rid of anything, but we've streamlined a few of them.
Yep.
So the 4 main service streams that we do is obviously the psychological services. So we've got that full team of psychologists. We've got the exercise physiology, so the physical rehabilitation side as well. So we're quite lucky that in all our centres we've got EPs and whatnot as well. We also bring in a bunch of other allied health professionals as well. So here in Southeast, I bring in trauma-informed yoga therapists. We have Pilates instructors that have come through. We've got we've got massage therapists, that have come through as well. So there's a big cohort. Our third pillar of service is our social connection activities. So what they are designed is, like I was sort of mentioning before around those coffee groups and whatnot, is we design social connection programs to recreate that family. There's a big issue when you do leave defence, you're leaving that family. So we see an increase in mental health issues around that 6 to 9 month period, all the way up for a couple of years post-discharge, because there's that loss of sense of identity, loss of sense of family and tribe as well, which we all know about, that we're a tribe animal. So we tend to lose that when we discharge out of the defence as well. So we create programs and activities, and it could be as simple as coffee groups, cooking classes, bike rides, you name the activity, school holiday activities, things that are going to bring people that are like-minded together. Straight away, by bringing everyone together that knows history, knows military service, doesn't have to be too worried about dealing with civilians and whatnot. So it instantly will actually bring those stress levels down on people, and they can relate and relax and actually start to talk with each other, engage, and then help with recovery as well. So that's our fourth pillar. Our fifth pillar is our pathway to recoveries, is what we've called it now, where we've combined two. So within that is things like our STARE program,
Yeah.
which is a
Yeah,
skills-based intervention program.
I did that. Well, it would have been 2.5 years ago now. So yeah, got a
Yep.
lot out of that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a brilliant program. We actually last year turned it around a little bit, and we've created veteran mentors per se.
Yeah, yeah, they were talking about that
So
when I did it, that was the path
yeah,
they wanted to follow. But I had the psychologist team do my
yep.
one, so no, it's good that they've gone through with that path they wanted. So
Yeah, so that one's worked out really well. So we're currently actually, even though we're all working from home and working online and whatnot, we're still running STARE at the moment in 3 of our locations, and we've actually got our veteran observers that are in there. So the veteran observers have gone through that program, like yourself. We then actually put them through a diploma of counselling as well, and then they learn how to become facilitators. So we're teaching all these great intervention skills for the veteran community, but we're teaching veterans with the theorem behind it as well. So instead of just going, okay, out you go, you all can be mentors, we're actually teaching people on real technical skills and abilities to get them back out into that veteran community as well and help support. So we have that in underneath there, our rehab adventure program. So this year, which we've put on hold at the moment, so we're making some decisions around that, but this year we obviously have had couples equine therapy and normal veterans equine therapy. We changed some locations to even one here up on the Sunshine Coast. Due to COVID, obviously we've had to delay that. Same with Snowy Mountains Horse Track. We had this year on the cards was Kangaroo Island hike. Unfortunately, at the start of the year with all the bushfires, Kangaroo Island was hit pretty hard. And then also one of the big treks that we were doing was, instead of Kokoda this year, we're going to do the Larapinta Trail, which is one of the hardest ones in Australia. These sound like great activities, and they are. They're a really cool, good thing to reach for as part of your recovery piece. So they're a controlled stressor, our rehab adventure programs. So we design them to push people beyond what their limitations are. So if you've got a physical limitation, we're going to push you to beyond what you thought in a controlled environment. We have a whole team of psychologists that attend. So no matter what, there's always that support that's there, and it's in with a crew of other veterans or families as well. Like I know you did the Snowy Mountain and Kokoda. Myself, I was lucky. I went and did the Aussie 10. And myself with my physical injuries, I've always had that very limited thought about what I can do physically. You get told it a million times and you're going to start to believe that you can't do things. I think in the first day we did 35 kilometers hiking up and down 6 mountains in Australia, which was ludicrous. It hurt. It really hurt. But I came back with a different mentality. I was going, actually I can do things. I don't have to be branded by, oh, you're the limping one that, has a leg injury, and, my kid's going, oh, dad can't come to the park and go for a run, or, come down and play basketball. Hell, yes, it's still going to hurt, but you can still go through and do those things as well. So, I'm hoping that's something that you, in your experience, Luke, got out of doing those activities as well.
yeah, no, I did. Like equine therapy was, that was really good for for me and Crystal. The horse track was just, I found it a bit more, never really rid a horse before, always wanted to, so that was a good opportunity. But, that was just more for what I got out of it. New friends, went on these not knowing any of them, and just build that rapport back with, having different mates. But Kokoda, that was a whole different level. So, when I was starting to train for that, I haven't touched gym work or, done much cardio because of my injuries for years, and always thought, no, every time I try to do something, I'm just going to get hurt. And, I got pushed by Kylie, one of the psychologists up in Townsville. Well, she's not there anymore, but she was, for me to put in for Kokoda. And I kind of just took a leap of faith and went in there, put 100% into it. And it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done, both physically and mentally. But It was so worth it. Got so much out of it. It's only now, 2 years later, so I've been seeing my memories. I got back from Kokoda this time 2 years ago, and it's taken me 2 years to really see the full benefit from it. And the way I am now in my headspace and how things are going, I can stem back to Kokoda. So
Yep.
yeah, I can't say, there's not enough words to say how awesome that was for me. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. That is. And Kylie used to push a lot of people. I'll say that now.
Yeah,
She was brilliant,
yeah,
absolutely
she was
brilliant.
good.
So,
But she knew
yeah.
who to push and how to push.
Mm.
So
And and that's how we mates for mates view sort of recovery as well. It's you can have somebody come in with you know if we use homelessness for an example, because there is veteran homelessness that's out there, and walk through the door and go, okay, I've got nowhere to live. I need some support. Great. Yep. Yeah, we can help that. But by just tapping into and only doing the homeless side, there's obviously other reasons why people are in that situation as well. So
yeah,
it's about that holistic view and that holistic approach, because, if you've got just a small little, physical injury, but it's gotten to your point where you're in pain a lot and whatnot, there's going to be dual diagnoses where, that being in chronic pain is going to affect your mental health. That then is going to start to socially isolate you as well. So dealing just with the pain is only going to be, that injury is only going to be one little piece of the puzzle. It's about getting the whole wraparound and that entire wraparound support and going, okay, yes, you're coming in for here, but we can identify that you've got about 4 other things that we need to address as well, and do that whole holistic wraparound service. So,
and it's good. So you touched a little bit on it just before, but with this whole coronavirus and the self isolation, and going out for essential things, you said that you're going a bit more online. So you want to have a little chat about that? Like, what's been moved over to online, and how's it going?
So we were quite lucky that we've got a very good team across all locations. That we took it as a bit of a challenge and go, okay, this is what we normally do face to face. This is what realistically life's going to be for the next 3-4 months, so or longer. So how can we get to that point in where we can still deliver all of our services, just in a different format? And myself, I always try and look at the silver linings in absolutely everything. And as much as I love being in the family recovery centres and seeing mates and interacting and whatnot, we had to turn around and go, okay, how can we still do that in a digital format? So straight away, what we did was we moved our clinical services to telehealth. So government laws and regulations with Medicare and DVA and whatnot opened up a little bit. So we were able to provide still our one-on-ones, our couples counselling, working with children through our psych team via Zoom, via Skype or telephone or whatnot, not via Zoom, sorry, but by other means like similar to this. We also did the same thing with our physical rehabilitation. There's some fantastic programs to be able to actually use. We're still evolving that side of it. So as we go, technology is going to keep creeping up and catching up as well. So, people are still able to jump on and get one-on-one EP work with an exercise physiologist. We're about to go live as of next week with group PT digitally. So there's no reason why we can't have 50 veterans or family members all have their mobile phones on the lounge room floor, getting yelled at by our EPs about doing push-ups and sit-ups in a safe environment.
The
There
memories.
is, yep. So there is ways that we've moved towards that. And some were a bit slower to move across, but we're finding as the days are progressing, more and more people are realizing that they're going to need support, and if not now, it's causing more mental stress by people being socially isolated, like you had said, that, this is where they're actually really reaching out now and saying, actually, I do need that help. I do need that support. So we moved that stuff across really quickly. We sat down, and I'm talking about my team here in the Southeast, and I've got a really good team of non-clinical staff as well as clinical staff, and the non-clinicians are turning around going, oh, how do I cook and do a community kitchen group without people or without facilities and whatnot? So it took us a couple of days, and we decided, well, nothing's really going to stop us. If anything, we can still do our cooking group. About 2 hours ago, I was filling in for one of the staff members, and I did my disaster chef in my kitchen at home, where I cooked up 2 recipes and put it out live, and had people watching live, and people still learning those skills, and people still engaging. So we went through and did that. Our social coffee groups, this week we went live around the country with our regional, especially for the regional coffee groups, because they don't get access to the FRCs as often. But we've gone live with Toowoomba. Today we did an Ipswich coffee group. Tomorrow we're in Bundaberg doing a digital coffee group, similar, using Zoom. So people can still sit at home, have a coffee, but you still get that same banter. You still get that same laughter. The same jokes get told 1,000,001 times. But I think that's the beauty of moving to digital, that, even with the times that like they are, that people can still access all the services that are out there. If what we've seen is actually more of an uptake. So I've got members that, are joined, that live in ACT, that are coming on and doing my trauma-informed yoga. So a trauma-informed yoga class normally only has 20 to 22 people in it, just because of the size and locality of what we are. We're finding 168 people are attending a trauma-informed yoga class, or watching that video within the following couple of days, which is tremendous. So we're really taking that silver lining and going, actually, this is quite good. We're never going to get rid of our models of how we deliver services. What we will do is probably take some really good chunks out of what we're having to deal with now, and go, well, there's no reason why the people in Canberra can't continue, logging in and doing trauma-informed yoga, or, Reese's cooking class, or, Dennis's up in Townsville's cycling challenge. It just gives us another platform to deliver services, which is great.
Yeah, that's good. And, I was talking to you the other day about all this. Like, I'm in Toowoomba, and, with my mental health, I can't do those long drives by myself. And with the wife working, I haven't been able to get to the FRCs for a while now. But now we're going to that digital, I can, reconnect with you guys. And, like you said, we can move on. Like, once all this is over, hopefully we can keep doing this stuff for, like you said, the remote parts that don't have a FRC.
Yeah, exactly right. And there's a couple of different mediums people can link in. We've got our regional Facebook groups, we've got our national Facebook page, but we've got Southeast Queensland ones that everyone under that remit falls in under and can access live videos and whatnot as well. But we're trying to make it as easy and accessible to anybody, because obviously with Mates4mates, we've at the moment, I think on our books is about 5,700, sorry. Just in SEQ, I think we did the numbers the other day, I've got about 2,400 people. And there's an age bracket, there's a massive age bracket. We've got kids, we've got 17-year-old guys and girls who've gotten hurt at basics, all the way up to, I think our oldest member is 94 years of age.
Wow.
So there's technology levels and skills that really vary across the board, but people are really taking to it. Yes, it does cause some extra stress every now and then, but we're trying to help and support around that, and teach people and give them the skills to be able to cope with these changes and cope with that social isolation, and still interact. It was great yesterday actually catching up with you. I haven't had a catch up with you now in quite some time, where it used to be daily. So we got to look at the silver linings to the restrictions that we're in, that we're all being able to not only reach out to our mates, but also to family and whatnot. Now's the best time to teach parents on how to, FaceTime you and still interact, so they still get to see grandkids and those sorts of things as well. So, with the restrictions, there's still always going to be those positives.
Yeah, that's good. So last bit before we sign off is, so how can people, say just veterans and their family, find you and, contact you to become a mate, especially with all these FRCs closure? So what's the best way for
Yep.
people to reach out to you guys at the moment?
So all of it, even though the FRCs are closed, all of our phones are still open. All the staff, we're all working from home. Welcome to my house. So our main lines and whatnot, our administration staff are still working from home. So it's all still going through to them as well. So there's a couple of different ways you can reach out. We've got a brand spanking new website at mates4mates.org. So from there, you can actually access on how to become a member as well, where our family recovery centres are. All of that's in there as well. We've got a main national landline number, which is 1300-4mates, or you can look up and contact the local FRC to you to be able to reach out. And then from there, the staff will be able to guide you, get you onboarded if you're not a member. It is quite an easy process, an induction. I remember we've all gone through and done it ourselves.
Yep.
And once you're a member, like I said earlier, you're a member for life. So going through that 40-minute catch up to get onboarded is quite an easy step when you look at what the benefits are in the end. You know, everything that we do is free. We don't charge our members anything. You can access all the programs wherever you are as well.
Cool. And I'll put all that in the description of this video too. And one last thing is for, you know, the non-veterans out there that want to support Mates for Mates. Like we said, it's a non-profit organisation. How can they go about to make a donation to you guys?
So with that brand new website, we've actually got a donate now section in there. You know, being that non-for-profit, it is vital. Without donations, without support, we can't function and we can't deliver the vital services that we deliver. So, you know, if they want to donate directly, they can reach out to the local recovery centre and the regional managers like myself. We're happy to help support that through. If people, even veterans or non-veterans, want to do fundraising as well, you know, there is the ability to be able to get fundraising, do activities, things like virtual runners, park runs, you know, bake sales, or you know, kids' school activities and fates and whatnot. We can help support through that just through the website as well.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you for giving you some time and having this chat, Mark. It's been really good. So thank you very much.
No worries. Cheers, Luke. See you soon.
Hey, big thanks to Mark for giving some time to have a chat with us. So all the links and how to find Mates for Mates and where to go to donate will be down in the description. Look, anyone out there in the veteran community in Australia and you need help, you know, Mates for Mates have done so much for me. I can even go to the length of saying they saved my life. So, you know, reach out, become a mate, and, you know, start your recovery journey with like-minded and people that are going through something very similar than what you're going through. And, you know, if you want to donate, please go donate. Like I said, they are a non-profit organisation and they rely on donations. So thank you guys, and until next time, stay safe and look after each other.